Murtala Muhammed was assassinated by Colonel Suwa Dimka. It was on Friday, 13th of February, 1976, and he was assassinated alongside his ADC, Akintunde Akinsenwa. People have described late General Murtala Muhammed as an exemplary leader, and of course, he ruled Nigeria between 1975 and 1976. Within that short period, he was able to impact different sectors of the economy. Until tomorrow, people still celebrate this man who was killed, assassinated, whatever you want to call it this morning, at the age of 38. We have somebody who knew what happened then. It was right here in Lagos that very day when the incident happened. We have with us in the studio Samuel Mare, who's a public affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's my pleasure. Good morning, everybody, and I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you as well. Okay, so 13th of February 1976, I'm sure you were in Lagos. Paint us the picture of what happened that particular day and the mood of the nation when the news filtered out that General Murtala Muhammed was assassinated.
Thank you very much. Incidentally, I was at Lawanson when the information came. We were to go to Lagos. So when the information came, it came in three ways. There was a coup, there was a war, somebody had been killed. Those were the information people were like. So, but the thing is, there was no way you could access Lagos Road. Everywhere was, because it was a Friday, it was peaceful. Everybody was going about their normal businesses. Those who were going to work early in the morning had gone before the information came in. So later, Dimka came on the air that I have taken over.
That was the man who assassinated him?
The man who assassinated him. He came and there was a, it was what we call now that, was this police office now in Lagos. That was around that area that this thing happened.
Kansalem?
Not Kansalem. No, not Lion.
Zone 2?
Not Zone 2. This very notorious police office there in Koi, okay. Very close to passport office.
Okay.
It was in that area. Alagbon,
okay.
It was in that area that this thing happened. But when it happened, we could not get the information on time that this is what exactly happened. But it was when Dimka now mentioned it that he had taken over, that everybody was now asking who and who. So when they now heard that Murtala Muhammed was killed, the next question was, where was Obasanjo? So nobody could say that because we could not place it whether he was killed or not because they were very close. There were three. He preceded Gowon, and then he was succeeded by Obasanjo. But where was Obasanjo at that particular point in time? Nobody could say this. But we knew that when the facts were now coming towards the evening, it was a case of Murtala had been killed alongside his ADC. What happened? Why was this? And then the theory now started coming up that he might not have been killed if not because he was going for Jumat service.
That was the security porous? Because according to what I read, I read that he was a very simple man.
A very simple man that didn't like
and he was not carried away in power.
He didn't like noise. He was not showing himself as the head of state. He was going about because he felt he was doing the right thing. And therefore, no need for him to now be carrying security paraphernalia all around or be showing that he was the head of state. But maybe, then again, on that Saturday, everybody felt that he was not in his military uniform. He was dressed down and then he was going for the Jumat service. So, and then somewhere, somehow, but people who were trailing him, we didn't tell him, there was no information, no nothing. And they got him cheap. That's the way I'm going to put it. They got him cheap.
Okay, so how did Nigerians react?
Nigeria reacted by first with a mixed reaction. Mixed reaction because this was the person that was loved by everybody. And therefore, it came as a surprise. What would Dimka and his men be looking for? What exactly were they looking for? What was his offense? Maybe, was there anything he was supposed to do that he was not doing? Or maybe was there anything he was doing that he was not supposed to? So nobody knew what was the reason why he took over. But somewhere, somehow, he was captured. And then the news died down. But one thing that was sure, Murtala had been eliminated.
Okay, while he was in power as the head of state, what kind of leader was he? And what were his impact on the country?
Well,
because I was told that anything corruption, he never liked it. And of course, he was able to purge the civil service of some corrupt officials.
You see, when you need to work in an environment where corruption is institutionalized, and you are coming and say that, look, I need to purge some things, you'll be ready to face the consequence. And the consequence he faced was paying the maximum price. He was there. Nobody, when he was there as a head of state, he was a no-nonsense man. No-nonsense man, and he was able to control firmly his constituency, that is the army. So, but somewhere, when people will have to show their dissidence, there is nothing anybody can do about it. But he was an upright, upcoming, very vibrant person. That was the type of person he was. And that was why people liked him. When it happened, it was a case of, oh, in your guilty law. It was that bad. It was that bad. People liked him so much. They loved him so much.
So what were those significant steps or actions that he took that you will never forget?
Well, the first thing was that he opened up the import aspect of the economy. It made people to bring in some things. Then it was a case of, permit me, the language they're using. Please, chicken, Muri, this one for Muri, that it was Muri that brought this, it was Muri that brought this. So many things were attached to his name that during his period, everybody was enjoying. Those were some of the things he did within the period that he ruled from July 29, 1975 to February 13, 1976. Those were the things he did at the highest level of his craft that people would never forget. But were they genuine enough for us to ride on it? Was there any continuity of the person that was coming? Was the policy trust he maintained then able to sustain our economy? Maybe if he had lived more than that, we would have been able to determine, we would have been able to see whether the policy trusts were actually helping Nigeria or there are issues. Because up to today, so-called the policy trust that people believe in, nobody bothered to go back there.
Okay, so today we are here celebrating the man, and I was told that he also had a lot of opportunities, but he never enriched himself.
Sure. That was one of the things that people liked about him.
How simple was his lifestyle?
It was as simple as believing that we are equal, save for the uniform.
Even in uniform?
Even in uniform, we are equal. And that is why, according to information later, that he was free with all his officers. He was free with everybody. He was a simple man. So you could easily see him. But that in itself is another minus. Minus because when you are heading an institution where you know that people are not always satisfied, you don't need to be too open and too soft. You need to be able to control some things. Maybe, but he was a very simple man. At the age of 31, he had become a brigade general, the youngest in Africa. I mean, let me say in Nigeria, don't let me take it to Africa, but the youngest in Africa, I mean in Nigeria, as a military officer.
Okay, so in terms of integrity, service to the people, and of course spending the resources of the country wisely, where would you place this man?
Very, 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 he stood out. He stood out and he was very, very wonderful. For instance, he led the infantry brigade during the war, and we never heard that he enriched himself with war. In fact, those who are participating in the war, while they were driving people around and they were killing people, they were putting some things into their pocket. He didn't do that. But about 3 years to the time he was to become the head of state, he was the federal commissioner. So that is to tell you that people actually liked him, and he's been celebrated every time, wherever because he had an impact that is making, positive impact too, that he was making.
So after his death, it was Olusegun Obasanjo that took over. Was there any kind of continuity or link between late Murtala Muhammed's policy and that of Obasanjo?
That was what everybody expected. That was what everybody expected. There should be a continuity in what, there should be continuity in whatever it is that is going to happen. That because when he was there as the head of state, Obasanjo was his chief of staff. So if they are going to have a policy that he is pushing, it should be that all of them should discuss it. Therefore, if something happened that the man is out of the picture and he was coming into the saddle, he should continue his policy. But we never had anything like that. We never had all those beautiful things we used to have when he was there. We never had it. Okay,
my colleague over there, Adebimpe, she has a question.
Please.
Yes. Looking at the way the former head of state was assassinated, do you think there was any deeper conspiracies, or was the assassination political?
Well, right now I might be tempted to believe so. Why? Because when the coup was on, he was like he was the one that was leading, and he played a very beautiful, very outstanding role in the coup, and he succeeded. But he had this attachment to one particular person, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. When that man was assassinated, in fact, he contemplated that he wanted to take the North out of Nigeria. Yes. He contemplated that, look, his nickname was Monty of the West. That's Murtala Muhammed. His nickname was Monty of the West. I don't know what that means. But he contemplated seriously that I think I need to succeed. I need to cede the North from Nigeria. That is the kind of attachment he had to his people and then to that particular man. He did not do it eventually, but you know, when you are contemplating some things, it will show in your actions, it will show in your disposition. It's not impossible. Don't forget that Dimka, some of these guys, they were coming out from the war issue. When they were coming out, you wouldn't know where they placed their interest. The interest they had, you wouldn't know where they placed it. Was it now playing along their interest, or he was injuring their interest?
But there were insinuations that Dimka and one other officer were actually serving the interest of the East.
Okay.
Is that true?
It may be true. It may be true, why? Because you see, in the army, you can only see people. You don't know what they have in mind.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it can have. They may say that they are serving the interest of the people. If you are serving the interest of, did they call him? Did they let him know? Or the only thing they feel they could do was to eliminate him? When he was eliminated, did they now have it 100% that they're going to take over? And when they want to take over, that same interest they are talking about, were they going to implement anything that will show that they're actually pursuing that interest? What was it about the interest that they are going to have? It was not there. So everybody, he has to say something. We have to justify why he has to justify that action. He has to say something. So there might have been a deeper mutiny in-house that he could not place hands on.
Oh, okay, so as a country now, looking at the sacrifice of Murtala Muhammad, have we honored the man enough?
That's a very big one. For that, we remember him every year. The last 49 years is a honor I feel we have given unto him. But in terms of policy trust, where we can begin to appreciate what he did, there is this sentiment and the reservations people have. When he was the head of state in 75, the inflation then was 34%. In 1976, the inflation reduced from 34% to 24.3%. Can we say it is because of him or because of his policy trust? That is one. Then secondly, the population then was about 64.7. Can we say that he controlled population? The spread of population was fairly distributed across the country. Not now that everything is concentrated.
Somewhere.
Can we say that the GDP he had then, which was about 20-something billion dollars, can we say that when we look at that, what was the per capita income then and what is per capita income now? Can we say that all these things that he had then, he would be able to justify and stand and push Nigeria forward? The time was too short for us to be able to do that. So the only person, the only manager that can be appreciated is the manager that is able to wade through all this right now when we place the economic challenges, the challenges we have now, and place vis-a-vis what existed then. If he was able to pull through, then we now know that he is a genius. He is somebody to be celebrated. But the time was too short. The little policy that he introduced, everybody just felt, the immediate consumption that people had. That was why they were celebrating. In the university, there are two types of university. University that has no boundary. That is the public, where they celebrate you. Those things they were celebrating about you, when you take it to the conventional university, can they say that it is something that is worth celebrating?
All right, a very big question. Joy?
I was just thinking now, if the late General Murtala Muhammed were to still be alive, how do you think Nigerian history would have been?
That is the reason why I said the only way we can be able to juxtapose his then period and now is to reconcile that, because 1976 was when the IMF made an inroad into the economy. And when they did that, would he be able to hold them to what he wanted them to do? Or is it that he would now be talking of a lot of things? Subsidy was not existing then. The money was then on. And don't forget that we're just coming from the era of I have money, the problem is for me how to spend it. It was just so, those were the reasons why IMF was coming to say that, okay, if you don't know how to do it, let me now begin to give you some abracadabra. So when all those were there, these challenges of security challenges, they were not visible then. Everybody was like, if you need to go to anywhere, you are free to go anytime, any day. So those were the things that were relaxed then, and he was making waves. If Murtala Muhammed had been here now, I'm not saying he will not succeed, but the question is, will he have it smooth the way he had it when he was alive then? When the parameter that presented itself, today Nigerian population is 236 million, as against 64 million. So will he be able to say that I can now begin to put a lot of economic activities into this? Don't forget that he was a military officer. They were not trained to rule by decree, and they rule by decree and not a decree. They rule by decree, not by an act. So it's like a lot of things will have to wait for us to be able to see opportunity to compare what happened then, the policy trust he had, and just suppose them with what we have now. Will they be able to reconcile? Can we be able to reconcile him? Because that is the only time we can say that he actually meant well for the country. He meant well for Nigeria based on the policy he said, but can it be sustained for us to be? Because yes, there is growth, but is there any development? Because there is a difference between the two. There is growth and there is development. There is growth in development, but there is no development in growth if care is not taken.
Okay. Bigwe?
Yes, from all I've heard him talk about, the late General Murtala Muhammed, his leadership style is top-notch, and he was also known to make bold decisions, part of which was him moving the federal capital territory to Abuja. So what do you think, inspired him to make such a decision?
Well, the first thing is, when you are at the top of your craft, nothing can delay you when you have your mind in what you're doing. When you carry your people along, when you are enjoying the aura of economic aura that you feel is necessary for you to be able to perform, you will perform. If your immediate constituencies are not giving you threat. I'm not giving you any negative issue. You will perform. He had the mind of doing some things. What he believed that is good for the economy, that what is believed that is good for his people, he was doing it. But did they allow him to continue? Did they allow him to spend so much time? Was it that the people felt that if he continues like this, there are some things they would not be able to achieve? So therefore they have to stop him. And those were the things. So it's not giving anybody opportunity to really assess him that would he be, because it's just 6 months. Just 6 months.
Sure.
That he has done all this for within 6 months does not mean that he's going to continue to succeed beyond that time. Maybe that was the reason why they have to stop him.
Okay, let's go back to history now. There were some major actors of that particular assassination of Murtala Muhammed. You mentioned Dimka the other time. What happened to them after that incident? Were they investigated? Were they punished for that act?
For that act, you see, when it comes to military issues, that is no matter how nosy you could be then, no matter how nosy you could be, you will not get information. Because you don't want people to intervene in what they do. Military thing is shrouded in secrecy. Even the person they still want to kill tomorrow, they will like him. They are going to sir him until they kill him. Sir, yes sir, yes sir. They are going to sir him until they kill him. Then what we heard last was that Dimka was arrested and his men. Dimka was arrested around what's it called? This Igomu area.
Okay.
He was arrested around that place. So, and some other people. Now, having said all this, but what I know was that today, I'm not sure they are existing. Whether they were killed because of that coup, whether they were eliminated in another thing, whether they did something else, I do not want to stand there and confirm what I am not really into. But I knew that they were arrested. And that is what gave rise to Obasanjo coming into the throne. Yeah. But as at that time, when Murtala was there and he was opening up a lot of things, that was the era of internalizing military in the Nigerian economy. That was when the military said, oh, so there is something like this in the place. The power is sweet, oh, let us just...
So did that kill the professionalism of the military?
I don't want to say yes or no, because...
Or what became of the quality of the military that we had after his assassination?
It was a case of, if you know how to do it, keep it to yourself. Because he opened it up. He felt he was enjoying the atmosphere of cordiality. So he felt that he has to do it, he has to put his mind in everything he's doing. But it didn't pay him. They stopped him. But when Obasanjo too came, yes, he did what he could, but nobody could be able to say whether he could have done more or less, going by the fact that his immediate boss was just being assassinated. And therefore, the assassination would definitely send jitters to people to say that, keep your head.
Especially those with good intentions.
Yeah, especially with good intentions, thank you. So they have to run. And that is why till today, nobody mean any, just get there, do whatever you feel you want to do.
Did that open their eyes into politics?
Sure. That is why I said that was the period when the institution of military was entrenched in Nigerian economy. And as I'm telling you, if you get to the helm of affairs in Nigeria today and you don't hold the military well, they will come back. I'm telling you that for free. They will come back. You need to hold them. In holding them, it's not that you use shame to hold them. You must find a way of giving them their own opportunity so that they could look away from what you want to do. Whether what you are doing now is good for the economy or not, it's a different story altogether. It's a different story altogether.
That's quite deep. So looking at this quality of leadership then and putting it side by side with the crop of leaders that we have today, can we really compare them? And what are the lessons for today's leaders?
Thank you. Today's leaders, they are politicians. nobody can rule nation as a politician and give the best of himself.
Is democracy not the government of the people, by the people, and for the people?
That is your definition.
We had a military officer who served the people.
That is the definition you read in the paper.
The practical
definition you read in the books. The definition you read when you started reading politics and whatever.
So tell me about the reality.
The reality is this, that the politics, the kind of politics they play these days, until we remove godfatherism in politics, this your definition is, I'm sorry. This your definition will not stand. People of the people, for the people, for the people, yes. we agree. Read it till tomorrow, it's still there. But is it what we practice in Nigeria today?
If a military man can serve the people, why not a politician?
The military man that is serving the people did not believe in, was not believing in democracy. He was not saying he was playing democracy. He was coming to rule. He was coming to rule,
and that was the government that was not for the people.
Yeah, that was the government was not because they were not trained to rule for the people, for the people, for the people. No,
but he impacted Nigerians
because he had the mind, because he had no godfather, he had no constituency to serve. He has no people. He has no reason why he has to sustain his seat. So the politicians of today first must sustain his seat. 2, must satisfy his constituency. 3, he must have godfather that he's serving. And apart from all this, when he's doing all that, how is he going to serve the people, for the people, and for the people?
So there are no traits at all that today's leaders can take away from late Murtala Muhammed.
They can.
To make the country better.
To make the country better, there must be a paradigm shift, complete paradigm shift. And the paradigm shift is that we must get together and see. The politics, the parties that whatever party and whatever it is that we're doing right now, it's not going to take us to anywhere. It will still continue to be that we have to line the pocket of some people while teaming people. Are we saying that let me tell you something. You and I can walk this road now. Tell me an ordinary Lagos State House of Assembly member that will walk the street here. Tell me, because there is squalor everywhere, there is hunger everywhere, and there are some set of people that are there. Now the person representing this Agidingbi here is not living here. He lives in Lekki and then the best of any of these estates here and there. As a politician, you are supposed to be close to your people. As a politician, you're supposed to know the aspiration of your people. As a politician, you must be able to take word from them and take it to the assembly and defend them. Who are they defending? Are they defending you and I? So what is the definition for the democracy for the people, for the people, for the people?
I don't even your question.
I want to talk about 2 former, do you address them as former generals, who were military heads of state and of course came back to be president. Did they impact governance or democracy in any particular way in Nigeria?
Having tasted both sides.
Having tasted both sides.
The 2 people you mentioned were supposed to have had opportunity to right some wrong.
Yeah.
To put some things right. But you see, when you remove the garb of military uniform and you put on that 3-piece pajamas that they wear about, it's a 3-piece pajama. Agbada is not 3-piece. It's a 3-piece pajamas that they wear about. If you don't wear it, they don't see you as a president. You don't understand? So the question is, when you knew that you are there as a military head of state, and you knew there are some things that are supposed to be done, and you didn't. It didn't happen then. When you became the head of the now president, the president, you need to now put some things in place. The first one of them, they didn't give him mandate to rule Nigeria and put Nigeria to a higher pedestal. No. They gave him the mandate that we are appointing.
It was a compensation for the Southwest.
I'm sorry to disagree with you, sir.
Was it a compensation for just coming back?
It was not a compensation. The kind of compensation we are talking about, maybe you want to say Southwest because of something that happened, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
The kind of compensation is the compensation that is useful and compensation to the people that he was representing. Don't forget that he was representing a constituency. He was still representing the army. So those people who actually appointed him,
elected him,
now give him a mandate. Put the country together. Don't let there be a separation. Don't forget that he took over from
Abdulsalam.
So he's still their man.
Was it like a soft landing for?
It's a soft landing for the Southwest, but soft landing and then interest of their own immediate constituency being protected too.
Okay, that's the military.
Yes, that's the military.
Okay.
The military had to know that, look, this is what we're going to do. Beyond this, you are also. If not, he was just there, and he keeps saying it that he was there. Not that he wanted to come and rule and whatever. It was when he had the first term that he felt, this is money now.
This is sweet.
I can now begin to see how I'm going to do that. And he now attempted to tinker with the constitution. And then even when he was saying it loud and clear that it didn't happen, Condoleezza Rice just mentioned it in her book and opened it for him, page 360, something in that book, and mentioned it to him. This is the book. This is what happened. This is when you are doing all this. We are aware. We knew about it. So don't come here and tell your people it is a lie. But don't tell me it is a lie because I know I have the fact.
Even Fauci said that.
So the second person also, the second person didn't come with the intention to come and rule. He came with the intention to say that if this person can do it from the Southwest,
I can also do
it representing the North. So those were the two people that are supposed to have been able to put this Nigeria straight, because they are not supposed to not be afraid of anybody. It's like unlike the politicians who didn't have a military background, who didn't have whatever. They had what it takes to hold those guys and they rule the way it's supposed to rule. But here, where are we?
Okay, but as a nation now, 49 years after the assassination of Murtala Muhammed, have we learned anything at all?
We have learned something. And one thing we have learned is that we have not learned anything. I'm telling you this.
We have learned something?
Yes.
But one thing we have learned
is that we have not learned anything. Yes. You know why? If we have learned something, we will have been able to put it into practice. As long as there is nothing that is coming after that, 49 years after, and for us to say that this person has tried like Murtala Muhammed, then it means we didn't learn anything from his past. We didn't learn anything with that. It was nothing we can put on the table. All everybody is looking for is let me just get there and see how I can corner the resources from the Commonwealth and let me go.
Is Nigeria a chess?
You just named the game that Nigeria is now. That is the truth. That is the truth. It cannot be more than that. Toss to you, it is your turn. Toss to you, it is your turn. Toss to you, it is your turn. When it is your turn, take care of yourself, take care of immediate family. If it is possible, if your people allow them to take care of them, you two can go there. Apart from that, satisfy your party and let it go.
Samuel Mare, Public Affairs Analyst. Your conversation this morning is an eye-opener, and I wish Fela is still alive. He called it paddy government then, and from your description this morning, it's more or less like a chess. It's your turn, my turn.
My turn, yes.
But Nigeria will never forget the impact of late General Murtala Muhammed, who was assassinated 49 years ago, precisely on the 13th of February,
on a Friday.
1976. It was a Friday, according to what we have read. We pray that our country will get better, and someday somebody will come govern Nigeria and, of course, take some lessons from late General Murtala Muhammed and move the country forward and stop playing chess with the future of our dear country, Nigeria. Samuel Mare, once again, we thank you for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
All right, we go on a quick break. When we come back, it will be the turn of Joy and Adebimpe. Stay with us.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.